They are two big games at the Emirates Stadium tonight.
On Sunday, Carlos Silva, a very popular and loved figure in Portuguese football, sadly passed away. Carlos Silva was a young
Juler, a legend in the Brazilian national team, has passed away on Sunday, and now a moment of silence to recognize the great career of him, and certainly very heartfelt from the Brazilians, as many of these young players remember watching him in his heyday. Played here, and several locals are out in force, but as well the Brazilian and Portuguese faithful have traveled also. We are underway. Portugal in red going right to left. Brazil in their traditional strip of the Seleção defending. And right off the bat, Cristiano Ronaldo. Taken away there by Juan of the Brazilian team. This is a very fresh-faced side. No one at the century cap, for instance. The old guard is either injured or retired. The same can be said for Portugal, but when you look at this Brazilian team, the man with the most experience right now on the pitch is Lucio with 60 caps. Caneda. Ricardo Quaresma, he'll be on the left side with Cristiano Ronaldo on the right, just behind the striker Helder Postiga. Third time these two have met since Scolari took over at Portugal, which of course makes it difficult for him and Portuguese midfielder Deco, both born in Brazil. They've had success against their former countrymen. Now hit back by Petit. A little way cleared on the near side. Maicon, who's had a great season with Inter, as a result gets into the starting 11. Edmilson. You can already see the brisk pace this game will be played at. Miguel. He will captain the side at his tender age. Played with Manchester United right here at White Hart Lane, just down the road on a Sunday. Lucio.
And this is good from Portugal right at the beginning, the way they're applying pressure very high. They're forcing the defenders with their back to play the ball back to the keeper under pressure. Makes it a little bit easier in the midfield to recover the ball.
Maicon. Deco. Referee Martin Atkinson decides that was not a foul, nor that, nor the third. Deco. And Gilberto Silva, who plays with Arsenal.
One of the things you can see, Max, already, the composition of the team of Brazilian in the midfield. When Deco first went for that ball, the reaction, he had 3 yellow shirts right around him. Much more compact, much more discipline in the midfield. This is a good start from Portugal.
Quaresma. And grabbed by Helton, who it was going to be either him or Julio Cesar in goal for Brazil. Helton's going to seize this opportunity. Brazil look to break. They'll get the free kick inside the Portuguese half.
You see Miguel putting the pressure on right there, but a wonderful reception right here from Helton on the right side, how he just pulled his body down and just caresses the ball with his chest and turns direction with good mobility. Nice technique.
Well, Luis Figo is retired, and this is Pauleta from the Portuguese national team. Both say that the group they have now could be capable of great things. There shouldn't be much of a drop-off from that golden generation that got to the final of the 2004 European Championships. They got to the semifinals of last year's World Cup.
I see Cristiano Ronaldo, quick restart after coming back, getting himself into a rhythm, trying to establish that for the team, coming in deeper positions. Tackles are coming in pretty hard. But one of the things that we've seen from Brazil already is when they're transitioning, they're playing the ball much more quickly. If you remember their coach Dunga, when he played, he was kind of like a little bit more sophisticated Gattuso, but he was very good at relaying the ball very quickly, and that's what he asked of the defensive midfield players.
Pressure on the near side by Jorge Andrade, who, of course, missed the World Cup due to injury. Plays at Valencia. The high-profile clubs represented within this Portuguese side. Free kick for Brazil. Elano, only his 9th cap. If you don't know who Elano is, you're probably not watching the Ukrainian league. Plays at Shakhtar Donetsk. Goes towards the near post and whipped it in hard. Ricardo parries it over the crossbar.
There's a good tempo right here on the ball. You can see the delivery, good approach, good tempo. It's just the trajectory he's coming down makes it difficult, and 2 Brazilian players right in front. Elano has really impressed Dunga. He's an important key player in the midfield. You have another Brazilian, Matutsalem, who's playing as well in Shakhtar. A lot of Brazilian players playing over there.
As well in Russia and in that whole area as Ricardo punches it away, and it's tricky for the Brazilian players as you would expect in the Ukraine and in Russia. Gets a bit chilly. Something they're not accustomed to, and Ricardo getting into the ears of his defenders. Not much you can do about this ball, though.
We'll see Juan come in, just arriving right at the right time. Good concentration from Ricardo to stay there and make sure that he can get contact with his hands.
And Jamilson initialized the play at Maicon.
First touches of Kaká.
Looking to get it back here on the right side, out of the reach, and again Ricardo. Kaká sporting the T-neck. Brazilians and cold, complete strangers, I tell you.
And you see a nice little quick reaction right there. The turn, half pirouette, just slides the ball on the other side of the ball of the player.
Kaká not only with the earth tone turtleneck, but also the gloves to match. In the corner, Juan at 1 and almost scoring. This end gets possession back for the Brazilians. The foul by Helder Postiga, who gets the start ahead of Nuno Gomes.
And I think that's one big positive, Max, that Portugal is playing with 2 forwards. We saw in the World Cup where they only used Pauleta, who was the leading scorer in all of Europe, qualifying for the World Cup, but they just weren't able to get that final third. Even though they played fantastic football, they didn't really have that presence defensively when they were losing the ball. And now I think this gives them higher pressure with 2 players that are going to be able to combine with both Deco and Cristiano Ronaldo.
Eight caps, 4 goals for this young man, Fregi, who's at the top of the pecking order to eventually replace Ronaldo as that star striker. Adriano's also in line. And on this group of players available for Dunga, wondering why he didn't start. As you probably know, all the action from Italy suspended this weekend, which means Adriano pretty fresh. Ball given away. Fregi, Javier Sobis. Keeps his feet. Wonderful tackle by Carvalho. Still there for the Brazilians. Here comes Elano.
And this is a nice movement to goal right there. And you see Petit keeping the momentum here.
Kaká. Headed on by Caneda. Another throw for the Brazilians, who are chomping at the bit here in the 8th minute. Maicon.
That was an interesting movement when Sobis was coming to goal. He was using his arm and his balance. He just made a perfect first touch with the inside of his foot, but Carvalho stayed concentrated and was able to make the tackle on both players. Here you see the sequence. Great movement, just attacking right down the middle, flick with the outside of the foot at a good angle, and there you see the power of the tackle.
And it was Rafael Sobis who...
Yeah.
And Elano got in there late. Quaresma happy to clear. And now Portugal are in their own attacking end. It's only a brief stint there. Jorge Andrade. Every time Ricardo appears in goal for Portugal, and you can see the face of Christopher Sullivan, pure disappointment. He's still a Victor Bahia loyalist.
Yeah. That's not true.
Helder Postiga That's true. It was a fabrication.
You're going to have all my Portuguese friends. José Sanches is not going to be happy. He's not going to speak to me if you say that.
Trying to get Cristiano Ronaldo involved. Always provides the thrill. Miguel.
One of the great qualities of Miguel is just always participating into the attack. He gets back, moves up and down. Now you're getting the interchanging. And Portugal starting to find the rhythm. They want to keep the ball. They want to play possession. The game's just starting to settle down a little bit, 10 minutes in.
Out of the reach of Caneda. All right, now we get settled in 10 minutes deep. Time as we always like to do, what should be the approach of these two teams? So far, I approve of their approach. A lot of excitement, but let's start with Brazil and what they need to do to score.
Well, I think that the collective balance has to be between, the offense and defensive phase. It has to be very quick in transition and try to get the ball into dangerous areas to Kaká, to Sobis, and also to Frigi. And to work on that rhythm, establishing the quick rhythm, the rhythm that we talked about that hypnotizes team, that pulse that Brazil has. We haven't seen 4, 5 to 10 passes in a row. That's when Brazil really takes control of a match.
The cross in towards Deco. Deco with, of course, Barcelona. That great run with Porto previous to that. Into the legs of Kaká. No reason to panic with him the ball. Nice makeup of actually players, few on this Portuguese roster who still play in Portugal. Certainly helping the profile of that league.
And you can see already a difference in that Dunga has the defense, the back four, different from the World Cup as well. A little bit great first touch right here.
Fregi from Elano. Back into Rafael Sobis. Edmilson to Kaká, flying up the left side now. This is Gilberto, just so you don't get confused. You have Gilberto, number 6. Gilberto Silva, number 8. Gilberto plays in Germany for Hertha. Gilberto Silva plays right here at the Emirates for Arsenal.
A good response here from Cristiano Ronaldo. His team's a little bit back on their heels right here, and when all else fails, you just put it into another gear right here. Draws the foul.
Cristiano Ronaldo gets the boos, as he does in most English stadia outside of Old Trafford. Shouldn't be the case. What a great season he has had. It should be inspired after all the burden that was put on him by several of the English press and fans of the game. Time for Portugal. What do they need to do, Christopher?
Well, I think with Portugal, it's the midfield coordination. We're starting to see it now. The way that they control the rhythm and the tempo and combine. That's what they do so well. They have tight technique, great precision. Look at the pressure. Bad first touch.
And Helton, as he's reliving that moment again and again already. Gave it away to Ricardo Quaresma. Cleared by Maicon. Deco. Kept it alive. Caneda. Quaresma. The 1-2 towards the byline. Quaresma's cross. Pressuring Helton.
Here's a nice sequence from Portugal. They're starting to get a little bit of the pause into their game, the calm. They're starting to connect their passes, and you see Brazil every time. The goalkeeper is doing a great job of counterattacking very quickly. They want to get the ball into the feet of Kaká right here.
Flick towards the mistake shot for Brazil, saved by Ricardo. Second big save from him, denying Rafael Sobis, who was looking to take advantage of the error.
There's a big opportunity, a big mistake right here. Synchronization is not really there, but you just see the perseverance to get into the area. He was pinpointing that for the far post, just couldn't get the curve on it that he wanted to separate from the keeper. But again, quick reaction, quick response, and you get that velocity of play from Brazil.
Cross driven in, and now it's off to Cristiano Ronaldo, who cannot turn the corner, but will settle for the throw-in. As we said, other big friendlies today and tomorrow. I mean, you have 6, if not these 6 biggest nations playing over these days. In addition to Brazil, Portugal, you have France hosting Argentina, and Spain and England also meeting. Martin Atkinson with a big moment here as Elano brought down by Jorge Andrade, and this is just going to add a little flavor.
Well, it's always dangerous when you get a defensive midfield player who has attacking capabilities that gets into the attack. That's what happens here. Elano is just pressing through as a third player right into a great area, good location, just gets tripped from behind. You see it right here. This is so dangerous to track, and he has Deco. Can't just keep up with that pace and just gets clipped. The back foot from Deco. Actually, I'm impressed with the speed of play that both teams are intending to play. The precision and accuracy hasn't been there, but the quickness, the reaction is definitely there.
Here's Elano, who, for all intents and purposes, handed in a transfer request, wants new challenges that Shakhtar Donetsk will not provide, but no one really bid, and you wonder why. Because he can do this. If you're taking free kicks for Brazil, chances are you're pretty good. Quick ball in, over Ricardo's head, top netting. Maicon.
There you get a little bit of improvisation, fantasy. You don't get the wide opening, he stays narrow, but he knows he has eyes behind the back. A little flick right there with the back. Taquito, and not a bad shot right here.
Set up by Gilberto Silva, and nothing Ricardo could do, as you can see. Not too far from going into the back of the net. Maicon, who before ending up with that dream move to Inter, where he's helped solidify this team where they just cannot be beaten. Before that was with Monaco. And look at Dunga. You knew in his playing days that he soon would be leading this team from the sidelines. Just the position he played, just his smarts on the field, where he helped win the 1994 World Cup, that, like Diego Simeone, who may head the same path, eventually would be the manager of the national team. Big Tuesday for our viewers out there on Fox Soccer Channel. At 5 p.m. Eastern today, you can see the under-21 match between England and Spain. Immediately following us, in fact. Kaká.
Well, starting to build really on both sides. I think 5-10 minutes ago, you'd give the edge and the rhythm and momentum to Portugal because they were starting to connect their passes, but there's been a great response from Brazil equally.
It's loose on the left side, Kaká. Pump ball blocked by Ricardo Carvalho.
Nice ball.
And this is where they wanted Cristiano Ronaldo in the open field. Pins the ears back. Cannot get around Juan. Classy tackle. He has a second go, though. Onside ball, Deco. I mean, you have no time to think of what you're doing. It has to be immediate. The defenses are just too good. Petty.
You're exactly right. And also one of the things that we're seeing is Brazil is getting back much more quickly than they did in the World Cup. You know, they had Adriano and Ronaldo, Kaká, many. They were very top-heavy in the World Cup, where a lot of players were walking to even get back to the half line. Now you see the whole team getting back, very disciplined, and that's, you know, the hands of Dunga again. That philosophy of working together on both sides of the ball as a team.
Jorge Andrada, earlier said he was with Valencia. I was thinking of Miguel. Jorge Andrada plays just to the far west at Deportivo La Coruña. Kaká, Gilberto Silva. Back to goal is Javier Sobis.
Good idea. And this is not bad ubicación, the sense of positioning as a team collectively for Brazil. The way the defenders are spacing out from the midfielders. Miscommunication right here on the last pass, but you've seen Kaká, he's starting to find his rhythm. One excellent pass before out of the defense a couple minutes ago that came right to the feet of Kaká in a deeper position. And in Milan, we've seen so many times where he's making those open field running movements. That's where he's very dangerous. I think you see Filipao Scolari talking to Cristiano Ronaldo and saying, you got to get more involved in the middle of the field as well, not just on the right side.
The look away from Cristiano Ronaldo said a lot. It wasn't a pleasant conversation. Helder Postiga trying to get that ball wide for Deco. Helton, who plays at FC Porto. So he knows a couple players playing across the way. In red, Caneda. Deco. Super turn. Elano did poke it away. Lucio. Quaresma. As Quaresma goes to the right. Cristiano Ronaldo now on the left. No look pass. Gilberto. Kaká.
And this is what we're talking about right before.
Too much pace.
Yeah, he was building his appetite for this type of movement. You see Brazil starting to get the structure of the way that they want to play, and it all goes, this is the engine, this is the Ferrari. You give him this distance like Cruyff used to do when he played, and this is where he shocked the whole Serie A when he came his first year. He's so good at moving 50, 50 meters at an angle, coming in and either making an angled pass for a teammate or shooting from distance.
Armando Petit got caught there. Luckily, Kaká's ball ends up wide of Ricardo's goal.
So we were just talking about Cristiano Ronaldo getting to another area of the field.
And it's working.
Yep.
Blocked by Lucio. Got the ball into Helder Postiga. Caneda. Deco. Overlap on the right side. This is Thiago. Former Chelsea
Great
player,
ball.
now at Lyon. Ball for Helder Postiga. Shot is saved by Helton. Both teams getting involved offensively. You would have to imagine a goal is imminent.
There's excellent football right here on the last sequence from Portugal. It started, Cristiano Ronaldo gets into Deco, makes a great pass on the ground. It's back and forth in the spirit of playing in England. Very fast with a little Latin flair.
Petit. Miguel. This time Quaresma picks up the free kick. Got to feel good about this Ricardo Quaresma guy. He is at the beginning of his career. He was on top of the world playing for Barcelona. Had a little speed bump. And has started to make that rise again towards the top.
Here's the last opportunity right here. Look at the flick. Through three players, and the timing and the sense of the forward who comes right through, knowing that he has to shoot it very quickly on the half volley, and a world-class save from Julio Cesar.
Thiago. And Ricardo Carvalho. Again, Brazil without the injured Ronaldinho and Alex. Robinho, very late injury, picked it up over the weekend. As Real Madrid lost to Levante. Caneda the target, and he's going to get the free kick. Or no, it goes, I'm not sure why. Everyone's pointing at themselves. Yes, I'm shrugging too in the booth.
You see Fredji makes a great first touch. Look at this. He's leaning over to his left, comes around, just plays it. Yeah. What was that call?
Looks like Maicon was going to get there first all along. Just to finish the point, Robinho was a very late scratch, was even going to give a run today. He's with the squad to see if he could go.
I see the approach position.
Well, everyone's going to understand everything that's being said by the opponent. Ronaldo deflected off of Postiga. Maybe just slightly mistimed.
Yeah, I'm not sure it deflected.
Nope,
it looked
it
like it
didn't.
just hooked over. You know, when the ball swerves in to out. And it was a good idea because, you know, he's known for curving it into the near post. But Julio Cesar looks like his reactions are very sharp tonight. Or Helton, I should say.
Started by Elano. It's now back for Deco. It really is a game with equilibrium. Zedgy Nielsen shrieks. Not sure what you call that. Zedgy Nielsen surrounded. Flicked it to Kaká. Cristiano Ronaldo, sometimes it can be a detriment to his game. It may have been there. Caneda got enough of it. Jorge Andrada deflects it off one of the Brazilian midfielders. It'll be a throw-in for Portugal. Well, maybe a question for you, Christopher. With Ronaldo moving on and Roberto Carlos still unavailable, you think that Dunga at this point, in February of 2007, wants to build this team in his vision, wants the young players that he can direct. And we're seeing the first steps with it here, even though you would imagine Robinho would be part of those plans also.
Definitely. Robinho is a player that also you have Diego, who I think is a fantastic player. And somehow they got to fit that in with a player like Kaká, Robinho. Right now, I think that what Dunga is trying to do is get the discipline implemented, the philosophy of playing with 5 in the midfield, but having quick relaying of the ball and having the good sense of positioning. But in Brazil, you know, like Scolari was saying, you can go to any corner and you have 5 national teams. They have players all over the world, and you and I were just doing the game from Internacional. None of those players were called into the Brazilian team. Pato, Alexander Pato, the player you like so much, so many good players all over the world. So this is, I think it's going to be a process that we're going to keep seeing new and new players, and it's great that they're calling the Brazilians from Russia.
Yeah, and it shouldn't exclude Ronaldinho, not exactly over the hill either. He will be ready to go. Maicon, Elano, far post. Rafael Sobis!
You see Caneda come in right there, just using his body. Otherwise, that would have been a goal from the far post. Look at the continuing run right here. And just gets knocked off the ball. Maicon. Great redirection, looking for the far post. You had the, you know, one thing that I like about Brazil that we didn't see during the World Cup is when they lost possession of the ball, sometimes they didn't have that quick reaction to get it back. And today you're seeing every player, all 11 on the field, moving into every space. When the ball is not precise, they're still fighting. So they're playing for the shirt.
Miguel. Oh, the turn by Gilberto. I don't know how he kept that ball in. But he's done it. Won't be able to catch up with this. The ball will be played by Ricardo Carvalho. Out of play. Portugal, they'll be looking to also start anew without some of the big names that we've grown so accustomed to. When you look at players like Luis Figo, Pauleta, and Rui Costa, when you look at the all-time leaders in caps and goals, they are amongst them. Only Eusebio, really, the guy we could remember from 1966. The ball played in again by Brazil and looking oh so deadly.
There's good pressure from Brazil.
Talk about Eusebio, and he led Portugal to a victory over Brazil, led by Pelé back in that '66 World Cup in England. It was one of the memorable meetings between these two. The colonial power.
It was just such an exciting team to watch play. Portugal is beautiful. Both these teams are los artistas, you know, they're artists. You think of Paulo Futre as well, another great Portuguese player. And they play the game the way it's meant to be. Definitely there's intensity there, there's passion.
Here's Miguel.
But they're into the detail.
When you look at the all-time leaders in caps, Luis Figo with 127, Fernando Couto with 110, Rui Costa with 94. That's that trio. Pauleta at 88. Eusebio's 10th in caps with 64.
And it's a pity for Pauleta because he's such a good player. I mean, he knows how to score with his feet, with his head. He has an unbelievable presence and instinct. when he comes into the area, but it just wasn't his World Cup on his last showing.
Pauleta leads. He currently plays at Paris Saint-Germain. Pauleta leads Portugal in all-time goals, 47 in 88 games. But Eusebio scored 41 in only 64 games. Figo has 32 goals. He's number 3. Deco. Well-timed run there by Carvalho, but it's wide of goal.
We've seen it so many times. He arrives at the right time, just holding off to the last minute. Gets a little spring jump right here. Good timing, redirects it just a little bit wide. And you see the feint movement. He gets his body down really low, and he starts moving from side to side to lose his man. Once his man turns his back, that's when he hits the sky.
Lucio. And these Brazilian defenders are just so extremely confident, so good, even though a little bit of a mishap there.
And I think this will be one of the modifications that they're going to continue in the second half. Portugal is having success with putting pressure on Hilton. I had made a mistake earlier and said Julio Cesar, but he's not starting.
He might get some playing time too.
But this is one of the weak spots that I see when the ball is being played back to his feet. He's not so comfortable, and Portugal is trying to take advantage of that.
We've played a half hour. It's a minor miracle we haven't had a goal. Tremendous action between these two. Martin Atkinson with a big decision to make. It really could have gone either way, I think. Portugal get the nod. Edgy Mielsen not happy with the officiating thus yet. Let's give referee credit, though. He's been right there in a very fast game.
And this is the first time that we haven't seen a very quick restart where they're actually playing a little bit more deliberate and taking their time.
There's a track meet out there. Deco, what a brave run as he was bouncing off 4 Brazilian defenders. Portugal starting to grow in confidence. I mean, they're not at all caught up with playing Brazil. They're not intimidated whatsoever, as many nations can be. Oh, the strength of Cristiano Ronaldo there.
That is great football right here from Portugal. You're right. And you see Deco starting to find those little spaces in between the deep midfield position into the attacking third. And here you just see a change of tempo right here. Look at the speed of Cristiano Ronaldo, and that's the difference. We didn't see that earlier when he'd take on one person and 2 came on, he wouldn't release the ball. But now he's starting to make that pass, showing a better ability of having the vision and connect to another player. That was brilliant.
More possession for the Portuguese. Caneda, one of those Portuguese League, Superliga base players. He's with Sporting, on loan from Valencia. Deco, way too much space for him.
And now you're starting to see Deco starting to open up and getting the speed, because you're getting Postiga and Quaresma making great runs off the ball.
Cristiano Ronaldo's going to get a free kick here. Edgy Mielsen had enough.
You get a little heightened sense of tempo, and it's not just Cristiano Ronaldo. This is great work right here. See how quick his feet are. Just freezing the players right here. Gets a late foul from releasing the ball early. But actually, I love the runs off the ball from the forwards to free up Deco into the space where he was able to receive that last pass. It's great work. You see, now it's starting to work a little bit more like a machine in an offensive sense for Portugal.
Ball in Deco. Skying for it. Quaresma. Kaká, 1 against 3. You still like his odds. Knocked back by Petit to safety, and Portugal will start things over again. What a talent. This guy keeps getting better and better. He does things we've never seen. He's an absolute joy to watch. As anyone could boo him, you're mad. Kaká, another one worth the price of admission. Edmilson. Gilberto Silva. Juan. There's always a back three. Brazil, but they'll get help. Elano. Edmilson. Gilberto. Kaká. On the side of the boot, it goes to Quaresma. He's not going to hesitate. Maicon.
Great ball.
Taken back by Deco for Ricardo Quaresma. From range.
You see Postigas at the far post coming in. But again, good counterattack from Portugal. And you see Brazil came back in, Deco with a facility just to make a simple pass right into the midfield to an on-running Quaresma, and you see the idea, strikes it from about 25 meters. Good response.
There are times in this game, if you were colorblind, you would almost think that Portugal
is wearing the yellow shirt.
Exactly. Yeah. It's really Brazil-esque to every detail. Rafael Sobis, Gilberto. Keeps Miguel off his heels. Rafael Sobis let the ball do the run. He's going to get a free kick.
And here you see they're looking for Brazilian players are asking the referee for a yellow card as well. Looks like he's going to give it.
It goes to
One of the things that Dunga was saying, you know, he has great respect for the Portuguese team. They're using a lot of mixing a couple young players, Scolari. But Dunga had said, you know, these are players that are playing in Europe right now. They've been through a qualifying stage in an important tournament, even though they've underperformed a little bit. So they're in a little bit better form. But with the players that I have from Brazil, they're quality players. They know how to solve it on the field.
Elano. Well short, headed away by Miguel. Cristiano Ronaldo. World-class pace. Dusts the Brazilian midfield. Ronaldo. Are you kidding me? How many times have you seen that?
Well, great breakout right there with the ball, just shooting, exploding up the middle of the field. Here we see it comes off the referee. Look at this change of tempo right here. First gear, second gear, ciao, boom. He's just taking off. He's got his head up. He wants to do everything correct. And you have three players as well getting into the area. The response of the complementing players from Portugal is much faster as well. I think if you clock Deco with all the running that he's done today, he's probably run the standard 5 or 6 miles already.
And there he is again, adding to the odometer. Held Postiga in vain, unable to catch up with it.
I've seen Deco saying that he gets a little bit of push right there.
Arsene Wenger. Probably his first yawn, if you ask me. He's probably been enjoying this as he not only scouts some of his players, some players that he will see in the Premiership season, but probably more than anything, just coming in for a fun day at the park. Hilton. We mentioned how these two met in England 66, Portugal convincingly over Brazil 3-1. Missed a chance to play in this last World Cup because France knocking out the Brazilians in the quarterfinals. If Brazil had won that game, it would have been Portugal-Brazil in the semis. It's a chilly one. Gilberto Silva. Edmilson.
I think at some point in this match, if you know, I mean, Brazil doesn't really need to worry, but you see that the momentum starting to come Portugal's way, and it'll be interesting to see if Dunga pulls off one of the two functional midfield players and puts in Diego to link together with Kaká. You know, that adds a little bit more combination ability because he's very precise. He's good at changing rhythm very quickly.
That's from the Christopher Sullivan collection, ladies and gentlemen. You can get your own online. Up the left side, Edmilson. The last meeting between these two occurred in 2003. It was the first meeting Deco had against his compatriots. Portugal won that 2-1 in Porto, I should say. And the more I tell you about the results, the more you see, is this the nation that's had the best success against Brazil? It certainly seems so. In their brief meetings, they have not met as many times as you would like. Elano brought down or colliding with Caneda.
Here you see, nice thoughtful pass. Just has the body positioned perfectly, just comes around the back. I can see why Dunga likes Elano so much, because he's not just a holding player. I mean, we look at how things changed for Milan and Italy when they use Andrea Pirlo in that holding midfield position. I think that Dunga's using Elano the same way. He's very capable, very able with her feet, gets into offensive positions, and moves out into the flanks with ease.
Skimming off the head of a couple players, including Kaká. Cleared away. Thiago. Juan. Tight marking again by Jorge Andrade. He really is commanding in the central defense for the Portuguese. And how many better goalkeepers when the pressure is on than this guy, Ricardo? And how many better managers than Luis Felipe Scolari? Probably none. World Cup winner with Brazil, and he's taken Portugal to its loftiest heights. Several club teammates out there, guys who know each other pretty intimately, but no love lost whatsoever when the whistle blows.
And keep an eye on Lucio here.
Elano.
That's like the third time in a row that he's hit that short.
It could not have gone to a more favorable position for Portugal. Deco for Cristiano Ronaldo. Game-saving tackle for Rafael Sobis, who is the striker.
And that's the spirit of what Dunga is looking for Brazil right here. You have a striker coming all the way back into his own area just to prevent Cristiano Ronaldo going one-on-one.
Sobis winning
Great commitment.
The Libertadores with Internacional, now playing with Real Betis. Maicon. I read somewhere Ronaldinho was saying, who do you like to play alongside? He goes, I like to play with all the guys in my Brazilian team fold. But Rafael Sobis and I certainly have a nice communication when we're both out there. Another free kick for Brazil as they've tilted the scales in their favor. And Fregi trying to apologize for what may have happened afterwards, even though it's a Brazil free kick.
Well, see what happened. I think he's going from one player to the other. You know, he's absorbing a hard tackle from Carvalho, who comes through with both feet, showing the bottom, planchar, boom, and then he just slides right over on Petit.
What a great crowd they have here at the Emirates, too. Amazing with Kaká. All these free kicks are going to be taken by Elano. And here's a guy that nobody made a move on in the winter transfer market, despite the grumblings from him.
You see Lucio giving him a little bit of inspiration, saying, come on, because the last couple of free kicks haven't been there. And there's a big opportunity, especially if you're Brazil, because they have 6 or 7 players that could be in a line to take this.
It will be the 25-year-old Elano. Doesn't get it through. Off the crossbar, though, as the pinball effect fell wonderfully for Lucio, but tilt.
Again, a little bit low. Every time he's been hitting it conservative. He hasn't really gone for the high trajectory dipping like we've been accustomed to see. And you see Lucio putting himself in the right position right besides Fregi. Good reaction, swings with the left on a volley. He struck it well, just a little too high. Right off the post.
Again, Lucio, his 61st cap. Currently playing with Bayern Munich, who have a new coach as they try to keep up with Schalke in the Bundesliga.
We've seen the last 5 or 10 minutes, Kaká hasn't really been in quite the rhythm that we saw him in the first 20 minutes, where he was getting the ball more and he was able to make those little dynamic runs up the middle.
Thiago for under Postiga. Did oh so well till then. Well, sadly, Christopher, we're about to hit the 45th minute in a truly entertaining match. We do have a second half to go. It's wide open because of its friendly nature.
It is great from Brazil.
Elano.
Again, just a little bit off. The idea was there, but we were talking about it earlier. The mobility of this player right here, a little outside of the foot pirouette, where you saw 4 Brazilian players, and it's back and forth. Here comes Cristiano Ronaldo.
And Portugal needed that because Brazil were starting to seize control here, even though we're at the end of the half, getting closer to scoring.
Well, I think the important thing is both teams have demonstrated that they can play at a very high tempo, react quickly, play quickly in transition, counter quickly. So, I mean, just to get into this game, it's 100 miles an hour if you want to participate. So the second half should be entertaining.
It's like the Autobahn. Deco, don't get on if you don't want to speed. Deco across the flank here. Caught up in the legs of Thiago. Free kick Brazil. Thiago, who has bounced around only amongst some of the biggest clubs in the world, currently at Lyon. Before that was with Chelsea. Cristiano Ronaldo between Kaká and Gilberto Silva. Perseveres. Ball remains with Portugal. Into stoppage time. Deco.
That's a close one right there, but good pressure.
And Deco continues to have a superb first 45 minutes.
I think the supporting defensive midfielders behind Deco has done well. You know, that was one of the things that I was concerned about, as I think that Maniche is really the glue to this team. He was an unsung hero during the World Cup. He's a clever player. He's got a lot of heart. He plays for the shirt of Portugal as well as anyone. And I like the way that he connects and relays the ball. But I think that the other players in the midfield have done a great job. The coordination, the movements, the synchronization, the ability to get back and win and swarm together when they lose the ball. It's been impressive.
And you mentioned Maniche. We told you how shorthanded Brazil were. But Portugal, Maniche, who plays at Atletico Madrid, is injured. Nuno Valente, Costinha, they're both injured. They'd still be in the Portuguese system if they were available. So both teams, a rebirth for Brazil and Portugal. No goals after 45 minutes, but boy, we did come close. The half at their first meeting since... We're at the Emirates Stadium. Changes for both teams. For Brazil, Adriano comes in for Rafael Sobis. Zhao comes in for Juan. And Paulo Ferreira comes in for Marco Caneda for Portugal. The 24-year-old, his 40th cap for Brazil. He already has 27 goals. Let's see if he can add to that in these 45 minutes ahead. Scoreless after the first half. Lucio for Gilberto Silva. Gilberto Silva, his 50th cap for Brazil. Congratulations to him. And that back line slightly changed. There's Luizão, the man who comes in. Will play on that left side. Almost a straight change for Juan. Maicon, after his tremendous play in the first half, also remains. Brazil, the defending Copa America champions, have that competition to look forward to. That'll be June, July. Of course, Portugal preparing for qualifiers. Quaresma, another tepid start to the second half in comparison to what we saw earlier.
There's good football right here from Quaresma. You see how he can link up with other players. He has good vision. Very confident on the ball.
It's it across the goal mouth.
And this is the type of attack you're looking for to keep the defenders of Brazil coming out. That way you can get the little combination. See Deco, just a nice little slip-through pass. Feints just to disbalance the defender right here. Whoop, little tunnel, puts an apron on Ilano. Not bad.
Nice run here by Adriano, storming through the midfield. Gilberto. And that works out rather nicely for Portugal. Paulo Ferreira, the Chelsea defender.
He's saying, tell me, guys, tell me. You see him with his hand saying, talk to me. I don't know that somebody's behind me. But what you get is a great attack from Brazil because Adriano gives a different dimension to this team when he can hold the ball the way he did. He's pushing off players, has excellent technique on the first touch. He's definitely back in form. And that's why Dunga called him in.
Cleared here by Ricardo. Still with Sporting. Good race developing in Portugal. Porto the leaders. Quaresma. Fresh legs for Ferreira as he flew in there. Swept away by Lucio. All right, now in the second half, we've seen some changes, Christopher, as Portugal push forward. Maybe we talk about them. What can we expect from them in order to spice things up in the second half and grab this game?
Well, I think Portugal actually played almost a perfect first half. They played really well without getting a goal and keep Deco involved, keep maintaining, establishing that rhythm that they had, a little geometric passing in transition in the midfield. Try to get Cristiano Ronaldo a little bit more movement from other parts of the field, maybe the left side like we saw, or in the middle. And like we said, allow Deco to orchestrate.
Deco doing just that, looking for Cristiano Ronaldo, who's making that near post run. Headed away by Gilberto. Corner kick, Portugal.
You see right here all the movements to the near post. Cristiano Ronaldo was right there.
See, that one deflected, and it's offside.
That is the way you want to respond. When you come out in the second half in the first 5 minutes, you come back out, you start insisting, you put the other team back on their heels. They're starting to take control very early on, Portugal. For Brazil, I think the only adjustments, I think they played a good first half. They're very good. We see that the way that they're playing, they have a big presence in the defensive midfield spot in countering through Kaká. They just need a little better variation in combining with him in the area. Maybe you'll get that through Adriano.
And a nice storming run by Kaká, no foul. Portugal fortifying that back line. Deco. He's really had an inspiring match with so much at hand. Certainly he's had a lot to talk about with the press. He's not one that really likes to share that information too much. Adriano whips it across. Fregi. Gilberto.
Not bad. Nice little movement right there from Fregi. Gilberto was too narrow for me. I think that he should have been a little bit wider. That would allow the player to come back and support if they wanted to have a little triangle into the area.
Kaká has come off the boil a bit.
You know, two teammates right there, Jamilson and Deco. Someone says Deco was reading the movement before he made it.
There's familiarity out there amongst both nations. Helton, Maicon, Elano. Gilberto back out to Fregi. Lining it up. Gilberto Silva blocked by Ricardo Carvalho. Kaká turned the corner, bumped by Miguel, walks away like business as usual. No foul.
It is much better from Brazil right here. You see that they're freezing Portugal. Kaká has that speed to get behind them. He was trying to pull it down just with a deadly touch. Miguel does well to get in front of him, but I like the attack earlier from Brazil. Very good combination, nice movement. Ole.
A little Harlem Globetrotter stuff from Cristiano Ronaldo. Stepping in is Lucio. Out of the reach of Edgemilson.
And there's that imprecision right there in the midfield. They have the numbers around the ball. They're doing well to swarm Brazil, but a little bit of imprecision when they're touching to the correct foot. You know, how the body's orientated to another player right there, that was just clearly off. They're giving possession away.
Miguel. Portugal involved in Group A in the European qualifiers, currently in 4th place with 7 points out of 4 games. Finland lead the group, 11 points. Serbia and Poland, 10 points apiece. Then you have Portugal and Belgium at 7 points, so quite a tough group, not because there's one very good nation, although Portugal can be considered that, but 2 or 3, if not 4 nations that have a chance of winning the group. Ronaldo, the spin. Advantage played there as Martin Atkinson, our official, was about to blow the whistle. Paulo Ferreira.
What a movement. As if he was slowing down in slow motion for himself.
And we'll see it again.
There's right here a little bit of a pause. Mamma mia.
Oh. Unbelievable talent. Groundbreaking with some of those moves, as we said earlier in the first half. Ronaldo wins it back. Deco needs some movement at the top. Quaresma. Ferreira. Portugal have their next European qualifiers in March. First they play Belgium at home on March the 24th. Then they travel to Serbia on March the 28th. They'll need to get 4 points out of those 2 at the very least, or they will be in major peril, even at this early stage.
And you can see the difference of the sharpness of Adriano compared to how he played in the World Cup. He's much more quicker, much more explosive. When he's taking off with the ball is very close to his foot, and he looks a little thinner as well.
His former coach, Jose Mourinho, in the stands, led Deco to triumphs in both UEFA Cup and Champions League. And they've both gone to, I guess you could say, greener pastures since. Deco gets the ball back from Ronaldo, tries to weave around Gilberto Silva. Both attacks are a little bit more honest in the second half.
You know, Fred's got an incredible work rate, but one of the things that, another quality that he possesses is the ability to be able to keep his balance and hold players off the ball, like right there. That's very important. Comes back into a deep position right there. Keeps his balance. Miguel is very strong. He doesn't give away the ball.
May I speak to Jose, please? There's 10 rows in front of him. Throw the peanuts at him. Yes. Did you see that?
What
Incredible.
Is it? What
Incredible.
Is it?
I will see you at Nathan's later. It was almost. We almost had him. Deco. Thiago. Helder Postiga.
Great ball.
Helder Postiga, by the way, a pretty good forward, but he may get lost in the speed from the midfielders around him. And a great attack around the lone striker. One of the best midfields, not the best, in world football today. Speaking of Portugal, long-range effort, starts to dip. Helton keeps it in front of him. Hit by Helder Postiga, right on cue.
That's good. Quick turn right here. See Postiga. Nice strike with the instep. You see Thiago was running into the space he wanted, but it's not bad. I like the way that they're insisting. They're keeping the momentum and the possession. It seems difficult sometimes for Portugal, as nice as they play. I love the way that they play, but they need to get into the final third.
Cristiano Ronaldo. Postiga. Miguel! Great. Ronaldo hits it! Touched away by Elano. Oh, down goes Thiago. Plenty of contact there. Nothing awarded. Kaká switches it. It's behind his target. A rare errant ball there from the Brazil number 10, but offside here by Postiga.
Good idea, and things are starting to open up for Portugal. You see the way that they're moving. They're getting the deep midfield players coming into the area in wide positions. Quaresma as well is playing very far out on the left, and that's opening up the opportunity for Thiago to come through the middle. Also, we're seeing Cristiano Ronaldo get much more central.
Offside here on Fregi.
And we had seen that early in the first part of the first half where Scolari was talking to him and saying, just don't be, in a standard place on the right side, go into the left, go into the middle. I think that's one of the things that they're trying to modify in the second half.
Dunga. His face certainly says a lot. He was a defensive midfielder, holding things together. Cristiano Ronaldo, and maybe that's where Brazil may need its most help, as the attacking options are many. Adriano has really turned it on recently for Inter. Things were getting a little bit worrisome for him personally.
The last sequence, we see just the defenders, 4 or 5 Brazilians, bypassing the midfield instead of exiting out through combination play and just going right to Adriano because he's so good at holding the ball. And then they don't get that final connection with the other forwards.
Deco. Thiago makes a run. Gets it in behind the midfield defense. Deflected by Lucio. But it goes to Cristiano Ronaldo. Has he gotten his touches tonight? All the way to the byline. Stopped in the corner by Luizão. Plays at Benfica.
Yeah, a little too direct. And just vertical passing right from the midfield up to the forwards. This is when I think, we saw the face of Dunga. Portugal starting to have their way. They're definitely in control. They're playing good football. They're finding a good rhythm. This is when Dunga, for me, I think you want to put in a player like Diego. Because he's a player that can get control of the game, start orchestrating, similar to how Deco's playing for Portugal.
Ricardo Carvalho. Cristiano Ronaldo. Quaresma. Miguel involved in the attack. At the hour mark, still scoreless here at the Emirates.
Well done.
Paulo Ferreira. Petit. Deco. They back off of him. Deco.
There's better football from Portugal. Now they're starting to find the little spots into the midfield, playing from side to side like an accordion. Then they're looking for their playmaker. Deco just evades 3 players, gets into the spot, but I like the change of play.
And that's it for Deco. He will be the second player pulled off by Luis Felipe Scolari. Hugo Viana, one of the bright shining lights of recent years coming out of Portuguese soccer.
Nice play. And it's a good performance from Deco tonight. You see, very similar to how he's playing at Barcelona. Comfortable on the ball. Work rate was spectacular.
Viana now into his 5th year with the national team. Just 23 years of age, though. Actually, just turned 24. Currently playing with Valencia, as here comes the 3rd change for Brazil. Gilberto Silva. Crossed in, headed away by Jorge Andrade. Fighting is Maicon, looking for the corner kick. Won't get it. All is forgiven at the end. Daniel Alves, the man on the left who's had such a great resurgence with Sevilla. Good-looking fullback will be coming in. Meanwhile, we get through these substitutions. A reminder, the England-Spain full international can be seen on February the 7th at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, live here on FSC. Tomorrow at 3, England and Spain. That'll do it for Edmilson. Simão also looking to come in for Portugal. That's it for Cristiano Ronaldo. Yeah, they booed him all the time, but now they hate to see him go. He really turned this match alight. Just played 2 days ago. In comes Simão.
Good performance from Cristiano Ronaldo. I like the way that he was, not just what he was doing on the ball, but the way he was sharing it, releasing it very quickly, his vision. You know, he's grown a lot even from the World Cup. You can see he's in good form for Manchester United. And this player, Simão Sabrosa, every time he stepped on during the World Cup, I thought that he was injected life into the Portuguese team. Very talented, very technical, good understanding of collective play.
Finally, Chinga was another man who came in for Brazil, and now Daniel Alves will replace Maicon, which is the likely candidate after Juan has been pulled out already.
So I felt that Dunga was going to take out one of the functional defensive midfield players. He did with Edmilson, but it looks like we're not seeing Diego come in.
Back to action. It is Portugal with the introduction of Simão. The recent introduction of Paulo Ferreira looking to break through. Hugo Viana, pardon me, also coming in. Gilberto digs in and clears on the near side.
Good understanding and great first-time ball from Miguel, the inside of the foot to Simão.
Here is Chinga. Not a young man at 28 years of age, had a long career in the Porto Alegre clubs, originally with Grêmio, then had a run with Internacional, made a move to Borussia Dortmund, and lo and behold, he's back on the Brazil national team. This is his 4th cap. He's down the pecking order, certainly with regards to the strikers and attacking midfielders, but you never know. Dunga likes him. Quaresma's looking to fill the void vacated by Cristiano Ronaldo.
Great movement from Quaresma.
Left a little bit short by Thiago, and here is Brazil. Now we'll see who is the deeper team. Most feel it is the Brazilians. Kaká flicks it. Great play. It falls here for Fregi. Adriano with the header across.
Here's what I love about Portugal, about both teams. Earlier we saw Brazil, when they're winning the ball in their final third, they're just launching it out, but Portugal is connecting, passing, combining.
Blocked in the midfield. Very nicely done there by Thiago, keeping his arms to his side. Quaresma against Lucio. To the midfield he runs. It gets trapped in the legs of Lucio. Simão. Postiga. Offside. Helder Postiga. Just a bit. There's Postiga. Briefly in the Premiership with Arsenal's rivals Tottenham Hotspur. Never got to play in this stadium. Wasn't really a good fit for the Premiership, it turns out to be. Sometimes that's just the way it goes. Quaresma chases Lucio, always blanketing the attack. And Martin Atkinson wants a word. And Quaresma continuing the negative verbiage towards Lucio and not listening to the whistles of Martin Atkinson. Oy, 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 oy. Can't do that. And I think Quaresma has every reason to be upset. And there's your man. Diego will be coming in. Let's see if he can make you look good, Christopher. Jose Moutinho, before that, will replace Thiago.
Another great match from Thiago. Both Thiago and Petit did really well, surrounding the central defenders and coming, soliciting, always looking for the ball, giving good balance to the attacking midfield of Deco and the others, and Cristiano Ronaldo. Good match. Now we're seeing a Clásico. A classic number 10. Good match from Fregi. I thought he played well holding the ball. Didn't get into the area enough to finish, but now you got Diego. This is a special one. You think of the players like Zico, the ones that have the fantasy, great dribbling ability, great playmaking skills, orchestrator.
Another guy who came out at a very young age, looked like the heir apparent. Everyone's saying the next what have you. Zico, you mentioned all the names there. Had a little bit of a rough go, but settles in now to his new club at Werder Bremen after he had a nice little spell with FC Porto.
Yep. And he had a tough time in Porto, where they were very disciplined in their approach, and they didn't really allow that freedom, the flair that he enjoys at Werder Bremen. Franz Beckenbauer was recently saying the difference between Bayern and Bremen is Diego.
That says it all. Best remembered for his start, him and a very young Robinho playing for Santos and getting him to the lofty heights of a Copa Libertadores final one year. A lot of people looked at that team, and it was a club that grabbed the attention, grabbed the imagination of a nation with its tremendous group of players that quickly all went to different ports of call due to their success.
I think at some point you're going to see that in the future. You'll see Robinho and Diego again linking up because they have a good understanding of the nuances, intricacies of the way that they play, with a Kaká that has the ability to open up. When they get all their players back with Ronaldinho, Brazil is just incredible.
Diego's just 21, and of course Robinho 22 these days. How they have grown. Teenagers and almost winning a Libertadores trophy one year. Here is Diego, his first work, blocked by Petit. 70th minute, we are scoreless here at the Emirates. Brazil and Portugal, an international friendly. Chinga.
Well done.
Diego. Alves, all the subs getting involved there. Simão, the Benfica winger, to Hugo Viana. Miguel in a tight squeeze, gets that ball out to Ricardo Carvalho. Luizão. And over the top by Elano.
Pretty close right there. Instinct was good from Simão.
Diego again. Immediate impact. Elano. Chinga. Daniel Alves. Hoping to lead Sevilla to a Liga championship, something that no one thought would happen, especially with Barcelona and Real Madrid as chock full of talent as they are. And you certainly can't forget Valencia either. Alves, someone poked away. Diego. We've said so many great things about the the Brazilian back line, but the same can be said about Portugal, and what a great World Cup they did. They didn't give goals away too easily.
They were fantastic in the World Cup, not only from a defensive standpoint, but playing out of the back, getting into the attack.
Not a good play by Ferreira. Adriano. Diego. Chinga. Kaká.
And you see the same situation. Good sequence, but the run from Dinga, because Dinga, he's coming out of the defensive midfield position, was very, very narrow. So he doesn't get the angle coming into goal on that last little combination. And Escolar is trying to make some type of adjustment, because since Quaresma has been great in the second half, his runs from the left side, but since Cristiano Ronaldo and especially Deco, they've lost a little bit of the pulse that they had in the first half.
Kaká gets the ball from Diego as the pulse quickens. Daniel Alves looking to cross it now. Instead goes to Kaká. He'll take that responsibility and pass it on back to Alves. Gilberto Silva got mighty crowded there. Luizão, great idea, gets it to Alves. Firmly handled there by Paulo Ferreira. Brazil push forward again. This is Hugo Viana. Quaresma telegraphed it. Lucio. This is the tempo we saw in the first half. Coming back in the nick of time, Adriano. Shutout for Inter so long with goals, has scored in 3 of Inter's last 4 games and a few extra goals in the Coppa Italia. Ball back in, Adriano! All right, great ball by Gilberto. Here come the Seleção. Ball lost by Gilberto Silva. Quaresma will get a very valuable free kick as Portugal take some air out of the Brazil attack. Nuno Gomes, a straight switch for Helder Postiga. As we mentioned, Nuno Gomes on the leaderboard and all-time goals scored for Portugal. There really was an era the last 15 years or so where Portugal played a lot of games. Not nearly as many as they did in the 60s and 70s.
Well, I think they need an injection of a little bit of life right here. Maybe a forward like this, Gomes, to come help in deeper positions. Kind of stop the bleeding. There was a great move from Quaresma on the last one in the middle of the field. Spectacular. But Brazil is starting to pick it up. They're starting to feel like there's a surge of confidence, even from the Brazilians defenders, that they have Adriano and Diego in there. They're connecting their passes. They're not looking, and they're just feeling. It's more on intuition. They're starting to get the pulse of intuition through their play in this last little part.
A quarter of an hour to go, scoreless at the Emirates. One thing you would have to say is that with the emergence of Brazil in the last 15-20 minutes, clearly the depth factor, there's a huge advantage for Brazil. All due respect to the likes of Hugo Viana and Jose Moutinho. But they don't provide the punch off the bench that a Diego or an Adriano.
Well, I think the front 6 from Portugal are still doing their part. You know, they're playing very well when they get the ball, attacking, keeping the ball, and so forth. But from a defensive standpoint, it's a little too much for Petit and when Thiago in there.
Here's a chance. Hugo Viana.
Well done. Relaying the ball very quickly out to Quaresma. They haven't figured that move out yet, have they? Here it is again.
Yeah, it's like getting hit in the knee.
He's got a fluidity that's very impressive. You look at Cristiano Ronaldo for all the movements that he has. Quaresma is equally adept.
Quaresma with the calmness with every touch. Certainly when most would panic, keeps a cool head. Out of the reach of Carvalho. Really poorly taken free kick there, which will give possession back to Brazil. Sweeping back there, making a mistake. Opening the door for Simão, the Benfica player, as he hit it towards Helton. Of course, the player for Porto. This has got to be great for the Portuguese league with so many players in this high-profile match. They're manning their trade there in a league that has to be considered one of the up-and-comers, especially based on the successes from Porto in particular the last few years. Sporting got to a UEFA Cup final.
And that's probably one of the reasons why they went with Helton in goal.
Benfica also made a Champions League quarterfinal that long ago. There was Adriano for Diego. Almost. Daniel Alves. Doesn't look like Elano. Here's Alves. Tapped from behind by Simao.
You see Diego, even when he's off track, as he entered into the area, is able to pull out without getting caught on the ball. So many times you see the number 10s or the attacking midfielders where they get caught up. But he has that presence of mind to just pull out, redirect, and orchestrate. I don't think he's playing at a super fast pace right now like the other players, as he's coming in the last 20 minutes. But still, I think he's brought a little bit of sugar to the game.
'24-year-old Adriano. We're in the 19 today. Normally that World Cup was donning the number 7, which is being donned on this day by Elano. A new day with Brazil. They had a couple matches to end 2006 following the World Cup. This is game number 1 of 2007.
I'm not sure that was a great movement from the defense right there. Petit was looking for the ball. They decided for the vertical.
Great stop by Miguel. Now Quaresma. Jose Moutinho. Miguel. And just when it looks like Brazil are going to take control, Portugal get right back involved.
This is great.
Petit. This is Hugo Viana, no look pass, but to an offside Nuno Gomes.
Just inches, but this is good coordination. Again, the understanding, interchanging from side to side movements. They always get a little geometric balance from their players. You just see he's about 2 or 3 yards off. Lucio moves up at the right time. Luisao.
He's saying the praises of the subs for Brazil, but the ones from Portugal have also had their moments. In particular, the man wearing the number 10, Hugo Viana. Petit. And we see that the Portuguese players wearing the black armbands. Carlos Silva, the vice president of the Portuguese Football Federation, passed away last Sunday. And that's part of why we had the that was part of the moment of silence at the beginning of the match, as it was a tough weekend for both football federations. Quick ball, Diego. Kaká. Still just the 2 yellow cards from the first half on the board for Martin Atkinson.
That was a good tackle from Petit to stay in there and not allow Ricky to get up the field.
Elano, Gilberto Silva. Here's Diego. Gilberto Silva. We had the problems with the Juninhos a few years back. Oh, lovely ball by Elano over the top to Kaká. Adriano got it caught in his spokes for a second, but he does get it wide. Less than 10 minutes to go. Daniel Alves tried to slot one through, blocked by Ferreira. Alves. Kaká. Hugo Viana. Another good ball from him. Simao. Lucio in front of Luisao. Helton, who looks like he's going to get the full 90. Always tough to substitute a goalkeeper. It'll be another day for Julio Cesar, who's had such a great season with Inter. Tinga. Diego. A quality match, and you know, the detractors from this great game, the lack of scoring. Here's a 0-0 game that you can proudly present to them. There's a case where you may not need the scoring. Simao, goal! You don't have to pass the case on now because we have a goal. The volley attempt from Simao. 82nd minute.
Impeccable timing right here from Simao Sabrosa. And see again, the pressure on the goalkeeper. We talked about it earlier in the first half. Great win from Miguel. Quaresma is coming. You see the inside run right here. And Gobes is pointing over to Simao, saying, over my head, not to me. Quaresma, great vision right here. Just pinpoint passing. Simao comes, and he's still marked by a man, but keeps the composure to finish. World-class finish right there. Made sure that he didn't overstrike it, so he can keep it down. Great volley.
You better believe it. As he caught the sweet spot, finishing to the far post around Helton, who had that poor clearance.
And it really is well-deserved. I love this player, Simao Sabrosa. Every time he came in the World Cup, I love the way that his intent, the way that he plays the game, the way he goes at guys, the way he gets into the area. But Quaresma has been fantastic in the second half in every aspect. Winning the ball, fighting back, combining, bringing other players into the play. Miguel arrived right at the right time to intervene. They put pressure on the goalkeeper, and you can see the face says everything from Dunga.
Diego, well, 7 minutes roughly for Brazil to save face. Tinga. Kaká. Still so many great players out there despite the rush of substitutions. Gilberto Silva. So many balls blocked by Portugal time and time again. That was Ferreira, who's had a blinding game as well since coming on at the half. Stepping in front of that one, Lucio. Daniel Alves. They'll start from scratch. Elano in the midfield circle. Tinga. Kaká. Only Alirano in front of him, so he has some work to do. Now feeds it up. Ricardo Carvalho has the step and the inside track. Back to Ricardo. Miguel. The goal by Simao. Luizão. Luizão, a teammate of Simao at Benfica. I'm sure we'll hear a lot about that goal in the weeks to come from his club teammate. Kaká.
And now you see Kaká is trying to stimulate something again for Brazil to get a response, a reaction out of the team. 5 or 6 more minutes to get back to where they were about 10 minutes ago, but now Portugal's starting to feel it.
Ferreira. You wish it could go longer, but it won't. Just 5 minutes left here. Diego.
Great ball.
This is on. No, just offside from Adriano. It had to be oh so close.
Nice little slot through pass right here from Diego. Inside drag.
No, not that close
Very
at all.
close. Again, about a meter off. And you see where his eyes were. And that's the connection they're looking for. The more often they give the ball to Diego in that position.
Very well officiated by our English crew tonight. And again, this is no easy game to be the lead official or a linesman. Maybe more importantly, to be a linesman too. The speed intoxicating. Alves, flat ball across. Elano. Diego. Okay. To the right. Nothing brewing as they look for the chink in the armor. Kaká. He's not many better at finding just that. Less than 5 minutes to go. A lot of players have played just portions of the game, a half, maybe 60 minutes. But Christopher, who of those, regardless of minutes played, have impressed you the most?
Well, a lot of great performances today. You see Portugal right now doing what they do so well. Just keeping the ball moving, accelerating the play through their team, keeping the balance. I think for Brazil, you know, actually, let's start with Portugal. Again, in the first half, I would say Deco and Cristiano Ronaldo. Deco definitely was the player. In the second half, so many good performances. Miguel, very good. Simao Sabrosa. But I'd have to say with Quaresma.
Maybe it's a good
second half.
Maybe it's a good overall pick too, because he did have some good minutes in the first half also. Tinga. Lovely touch. Gets it out to Gilberto, and Portugal defensively flex back. Kaká. Bumped by Carvalho. A rare free kick in the second half for Brazil. in a favorable position. They got one here. What about the Brazilians?
It's been tough for Brazil. I think that the way Dunga's trying to have them play is much more team-oriented. You're not seeing all the individual flair, and you haven't seen that one player stand out with an incredible match. You thought that it would be Kaká, but I don't really. I don't. You know, I'd have to go with their keeper in the first part.
Diego. Away by the goal scorer, Simão. Into the corner, Miguel. Very steady. Did a great World Cup. He, along with Gianluca Zambrotta, fighting for right back of the tournament. Offside.
And they're playing that really tight, but they've been able to pull it off every time. The back line of Brazil, they've been much better pulling out to support. And then here you see, look at the last man right here, how he's going to move forward. That was close.
Two minutes left for Brazil. Diego. And I'm sure not too many people betting against them for somehow coming up with a goal, even at this late stage. Chinga's offside.
And both teams are playing it really tight back there, compact. There's been such a fine line between those last-driven diagonal balls. We saw one time where it got through at the beginning of the match, but all the other ones haven't. They've been close together. Carvalho has been great as well. Actually, you know, when you think about it, he's played a good match. There's been a few times where he's made good tackles. One time in the first half when he was out in the left. In the midfield, got back very quickly to recover. See Filipao, those last 5 minutes that are so critical, he's making sure his team doesn't give up a goal. Trying to.
Just look at that giant screen. Certainly Arsenal Football Club have come a long way since Highbury with this new venue.
From a positive standpoint, I think Brazil has shown the cohesiveness in the defense in the reaction that they were lacking in the World Cup, but playing out of the back really is.
Quaresma put the final touches on his man of the match performance. Hugo Viana, glancing ball, goal! Ricardo Carvalho with an ankle tap in the 90th.
And this is just great football intelligence. Look at this, Brazil, 2 players with their back. They should have been watching the play. Quaresma again is the one, plays back for the quick short pass. Viana plays. Great redirection on the half volley on the inside of the foot right here. And Carvalho actually falls down because he knows that that's the way that he wants to strike the ball. What a great strike.
He has no momentum. I mean, his feet are not set. That's a wonder strike. I mean, that's a one in a million.
Really is.
No balance.
I mean, very technical. I mean, he did that on purpose and fell down because he knew that's the way he had to redirect at the corner. What a goal.
Meirol, pardon me, coming in.
Fantastic second half for Portugal. The way that they responded, the way that they kept the tempo. This was against a Brazilian team that brought a fast pace into the game, and they were able to show their intelligence and their composure.
I don't know if that substitution was in the works before he scored. If not, what a way to go out. And it's turning out to be a comfortable victory for Portugal. Unbelievable final few minutes.
We saw the same thing in the '94 World Cup when Argentina was playing against Nigeria. Nigeria was playing a great match of 2 defenders. Ucha turned around, and Maradona played to Canija right in the same area. They went right back the other way, so that surprised, found the defender sleeping.
Quaresma.
When most teams would be trying to kill off the clock.
First loss for Brazil in the Dunga era. And it happened a lot sooner than they thought it would. And again, Portugal. This mysterious hold they have over Brazil in these international games. They've won the last 2. They won the most important one in the 1966 World Cup. And they're doing this one, as we said, in comfortable fashion. Gilberto into the 2nd minute of stoppage time. Flick back here to Luizão. And Brazil, the flag has been waved. Alves. And clearly a lot of work to be done in the Brazil camp. Without Ronaldinho and Robinho, who are...
That's another story. Robinho, Ronaldinho, Alex, so many different players. But this is
Portugal's missing a lot of players.
Portugal is making a performance. At Maniche, we talked about before, that's not here. Costinha. You look at all the greats. You know, now they're without Figo, but I think that Deco really stepped into a good position with Figo out. You know, and it showed. He was very comfortable, like it was his team, orchestrated very well. I'm impressed with Portugal. I think that if they can take this into the qualifying against Belgium and Serbia, they'll be back on track and can be back in the direction to head up the group.
It's a great game for both these teams to play, even though there's nothing in the immediate horizon of importance. But this is something where you get these players, even in a losing effort for Brazil, some first-rate experience in a top-notch venue with a very involved crowd. As we head into the 4th minute, or do we? Is the handball by Kaká?
A little frustrating for Kaká as well, because he's trying to find that rhythm and that understanding with the other players up front. And you know he would have that with Robinho. You know he would have that with Ronaldinho. And it's difficult. He's a player that opens up. He's like a Ferrari.
That's it. Luis Felipe Scolari against his homeland. Win it again. This time at the Emirates Stadium, and this time by 2 goals. Simão scores the first. Ricardo Carvalho the second. We'll be back as Portugal celebrate.